Hello and welcome into Three and a Half Guys. I am Alec Rapp, and with me, as always, is Miles Metter and Alex Schmidt. So tonight we have with us Kyleb Howell, the fullback for the University of North Texas. Kyle, thank you for joining us. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Just it's a little hot outside, but doing good other than that.
That is great. So I wanted to start off tonight. We're actually not going to talk about football for this first question. So one thing that not a lot of people probably know about you is that you were a state champion in the 110 hurdles. So just like walk us through what that was like being a state champion for one, and then just how you got into track and field.
Yeah, so whenever I was in middle school, I was fast, but I was never like a sprinter guy or just like a relay guy. And so my coach was like, "Look, if you're not going to be a sprinter, you can work on hurdles because that's for guys that are fast, but not relay 4x1 guys." And so in middle school, I was like, "All right, I'm gonna make this my thing," and I just focused on form. And it's really funny because I was a little 6 foot, 220, 230 pound dude running these hurdles with these guys that were like 6'3", 6'4", like 180, 190 pounds. And so they'd put me in lane 5 because I'd had the fastest time, and all these guys would just look at me like, how is this kid in lane 5? And then, it's basically just all form. And I had some good coaches, and I was, semi fast, and that really helped me, I guess, be a state champion. So, but there was definitely I looked a lot different than those guys. So
During your time at Liberty, you were both a linebacker and a running back.
yeah.
How did you make your transition to fullback?
So I was always like a bigger running back. We had I played mostly on defense, but on third downs I would go into running back. And I was 220 pounds, and so now I even weigh more. So you've got your running backs who are usually lighter than me and a lot quicker and faster. And so I went to North Texas and I was a linebacker, and we had some guys be recruited who were really good studs, like KD and Larry Nixon, or some good guys. And I looked at the roster, and I was like, look, man, we don't have a fullback because Cannon Mackey graduated, and there was a couple other guys that moved in and then left. And so I went to the coach, and I was like, look, like, I want to play. I want to do what's best for the team. And right now I feel like I could contribute earlier at fullback. And so I gained a little bit of weight. I got here, I was about 210-ish, 215, and now I'm about over 230, 235. And so the transition hadn't been too rough, other than, I've had to learn to run routes a little bit, but flat routes aren't that hard to learn. So other than that, it was pretty smooth transition, really, because running back and fullback are a little bit, the same, and you got to have the same pop and power as you do at linebacker. So it was a good fit.
Why did you want to go to North Texas instead of maybe I saw like Army or I think it was Air Force
Yeah,
that was
yes.
offered?
Yeah, so actually, out of high school, I actually moved to Europe to play semi-pro rugby, and so I was doing that. I did that for a year. Yeah, it's on my Instagram. But I did that for a year. I played the number 15, which is, they call it a fullback, ironically, but it's basically just like the safety and the safeguard in rugby 15s in France. And so after I came back, I was looking to get back into football because and I knew Coach Luttrell from when he recruited me Liberty. And so I was like, hey, Coach, like, I went to play rugby, and I want to come back and play some football. And he's like, dude, come on, we got you a spot. And so that was in 2018. And so that's really the closeness to home, and the connection that I had with Coach Luttrell already having recruited me out of high school is really what made me want to come there.
So I know a lot of people struggle with finding the differences between football and rugby. They are two very different games,
Oh,
but
yeah.
to break it down simply, what are the big differences for those that don't know?
I would say the biggest difference is the running. And so in football, it's plays that last 5, 6, 7 seconds at a time. And the most you're going to run in a play is, usually, maybe 30 yards, unless something bad happens, 20, 30 yards, usually it's even less than that. But in rugby, it is a continuous game. You're constantly running, and there's no stoppage of time. Even after you score, it's like the clock's still going. It's just like soccer, basically. It's like the kind of the same time rules as soccer. You're still going. Someone scores, you're still going. They kick, and then you're off to the races, and you go again. And someone gets hurt, they don't stop it. They if they lay there for long enough, they'll stop it. But it's just, you probably run 4 miles in a game. And then you'll be tired, and you'll get the ball, and you'll get laid out, and you're just like gassed. And so, but I would say the running is the biggest difference. And obviously, you have to throw the ball backwards, and so you can't. There's no forward passes, but it's all the same physicality as football is, and I would say probably even more. You got to be more physical to play rugby, just because of that long distance running aspect of it.
Before you came to North Texas, you had played at Harding University. How did you get there?
So my older brother actually went to Harding, and some of my other offers had kind of fallen through. I kind of waited too long, and so I just ended up at Harding, and Harding was great, but it wasn't for me. And so and then after I was only at Harding for about a month or so. And before I got the rugby contract to go play in France. And so my eligibility actually started. If I wouldn't have gone to Harding, then I would only be really considered like a redshirt sophomore now. But I'll be a senior now because my eligibility started. It's kind of a complicated thing. But I'm happy to be at North Texas. Harding was great, but North Texas is where I'm happy. So.
What has been your favorite game experience, like last year or 2018 or whatever?
I think the best feeling was 2018 La Tech. Whenever and this is I see Alex smiling because he knows exactly where I'm going. But whenever they were doing the North Texas chant and dude, like I've never seen apogee like that. I think we were like it was sold out other than like maybe 100 seats, and like I don't know if that's ever happened. And we were 4-0, I think, and they were 3-1 or 4-0, and it was coming down to the wire. And man, I really wish we could have gotten that one because that'd have been awesome. But that was one of the coolest moments of my life.
So shifting over to this season, there are some pretty big games on the schedule here. What is the one that you're looking forward to the most?
That's a good question. I'm really excited to go down to College Station and play A&M. Just the atmosphere is gonna be really cool. Now they're obviously an SEC school, and they're gonna be a tough one. But I think that whole experience is gonna be awesome. Other than that, I really want to play La Tech again because they beat us by, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 points in 2018, and last year they got us real good. But I just want to beat them, man. I just really want to beat them. They're always at the top of our conference. And so that the in-conference game I'm looking forward to, and it's going to be a home game. So I'm really looking forward to La Tech.
You've played at a couple of pretty big stadiums during your time at North Texas. What was your favorite?
My favorite, I would say Cal. Cal was pretty cool. Going to Berkeley and just that whole experience. I'd never been to California before, and it's like built into the side of a mountain, and then when you're walking on the field, there's like these warning signs that say like, yeah, this field is built on an active fault line, so at any time, the ground could split apart. I'm like, good Lord, where are we? And so it was pretty cool. But Cal was cool, and that was a close one too, man. It's just we have a lot of close games that it's coulda, woulda, shoulda, but Cal was really cool, and it is a big old stadium too.
What's a personal goal you have, and what's like a team goal that you have for this upcoming season?
I think our team goal, my team goal, personally is I want us to win conference, and that's been Coach Luttrell's biggest thing since he's been here is we're going to win championships, and we were close in 2018, and then 2017 that we made it to the conference championship and just fell short to FAU, I think. But we want to win championships, and we want to have a championship culture here in North Texas. And for me personally, I want to, I don't know. I want to score a touchdown. I think that'd be cool. We had some plays last year that I'd say every week Coach Mays would tell me, "Hey, Kyleb, this week you're scoring a touchdown." We'd always have a little fullback play, and it just never happened. But I'm hoping to get that tud this year. That'd be pretty cool.
So it's no shocker that, you watch any sort of football nowadays, and the fullback, unfortunately, has seemed to lose its value. A lot of teams I know in the NFL don't even use a fullback.
Mm-hmm.
So what has the coaching staff at North Texas done to incorporate you into the game and kind of, bring that aspect that not many teams have?
Yeah. So, we have a new staff, a new offensive staff, and so it might be a little bit different this year. But basically, what they've done is in any 12 personnel, which 12 personnel for people who don't know is there's 2 tight ends and 1 running back. That's what 12 means. And so the fullback is really the second tight end usually in those formations. So in a sniffer set, in a tight end and a sniffer, and then we have a kind of a diamond formation that we used against, I believe it was Abilene Christian last year, that I think they're going to incorporate more of that. And so it's just getting bigger bodies in there, getting a big tight end in there, and basically a fullback is a smaller tight end and a bigger running back. And so getting someone in there who can run a little bit, go out for passes, but also be able to block. They've done a great job, especially with the 12 personnel, and putting me in a sniffer position to get things done. So it's been good, and I'm learning a lot from Coach Blesh, who's our new coordinator, and it's going to be fun, I really think.
Who's one guy in the NFL, past or present, that you style your game after?
Well, the easy answer would be All Scott, the human train, if you will. Watching his highlights have always been really cool, and my dad was like, "Dude, you got to watch Mike Allscott's highlights," and so I did, and that was pretty cool. But I'd say realistically, I like Juszczyk from the 49ers. He's a little bit smaller, and he went to a small school. He went to Harvard. And watching some of the things he does, he's really quick. He's got great hands, and he doesn't back down from contact. And so, if there's one guy that I really wish I could be like, is Juszczyk or Dan Vitale from the Green Bay Packers. He's got a sick mustache, so I've been trying to grow mine out kind of like him. So yeah.
What is it like playing under Seth Luttrell and in his offense that he's incorporated?
It's really good. He's a big so he played fullback at Oklahoma, fullback, running back, and we've actually watched his highlights too. He was a bad dude, and but he really incorporates likes incorporating the tight ends, fullbacks, along with an air raid style with Graham Harrell, and we've had different coordinators every year I've been here. But our base stuff has always stayed the same, and it's going to be interesting to see how the quarterback situation plays out. I'm sure you are all in tune to that with Mason being gone, and you have Bean, Ani, Kaysen, these different guys who are talented. It's just finding the right fit for our offense. And then the coach is deciding who the best guy for that is. But Luttrell incorporates the tight end very well. He did it with Kelvin Smith, great. Kelvin dealt with some injuries, and that's why he didn't get to play as much as he would have liked. But Coach Luttrell, he likes big bodies in there to be able to block and go out for passes.
So you brought it up. There's this big elephant in the room with the quarterback situation, and knowing that and the struggles that may come with not being able to have a spring game and not being able to, have the reps that they would normally get through all the training that would have already happened by now. What expectations can the fans expect when it comes to this quarterback situation this year?
It's like, if I had an answer, I would give it. But we have so many guys, and the quarterbacks who played last year was Austin Ani and Jason Bean. Both of them did really good things, and both of them have room for improvement. And so, without having spring ball, it was really weird because we thought we were going to come out of spring with a more solidified answer to that. But not having spring ball, not having a spring game, it's just it's still kind of in limbo. And I know whoever's going to be quarterback is going to be a stud, going to be a baller, because all our whole quarterback room is really talented. Even the new guys, the freshmen coming up, the freshmen last year, like there's Will Keeney, Cole Johnson, both of those guys can sling the rock pretty good. But whoever's back there, we're going to ball, and we've got a very good receiving core, and I think that's really going to help whoever's quarterback. We got Deontay Simp, we got Jalen Darden, and those guys. Ogamakin's really good, Greg White. So it's going to be interesting, but the quarterback's going to have some help too.
How have you been staying in shape during the pandemic and everything, with everything being shut down?
Yeah, my dad's got some weights in the garage, and so he bought a bench. Got about 350 pounds of weights, and so I've been able to work out every day. I've been fortunate, but I know that there's a bunch of guys that really didn't. All they could do is really run and do push-ups and air squats, and so once we've already started workouts, but once we really get into the summer, we'll start seeing guys getting more and more shape. But for me, I've been able to stay in pretty good shape. I've actually gained some good weight. I'm actually really, I don't want to say the pandemic helped me get bigger, but I feel good, really. So, yeah.
So even though there wasn't a spring camp or spring practice and all that, is there a freshman or a newcomer or someone who redshirted last year that you think can really make a big role this year?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'll say this: I don't know if he'll play that much this year. But Asher Alberding he's a tight end, and remember his name because that dude is big, he's fast, and I've always told him, I was like, Ash, he looks like Clark Kent, he looks like Superman. He's got 12% body fat, and he weighs 250 pounds. He's 6'4", he's got a good frame. He looks like Gronk out there, and so. But so we've got Pirtle coming back at tight end, and Pirtle's a great route runner and has great technique blocking. But Asher Alberding one day is going to have a chance to go to the league. For now, a newcomer who redshirted, Oscar Attaway is a stud. I was trying to think. Yeah, Oscar redshirted. Man, he's a beast. He's big. I think he weighs 210. He's our biggest running back. The defenses are going to be scared of Oscar, especially. I think he had 5 or 6 carries last year against UTEP for 60 yards or something like that, just running all through their defense. And he's going to be real good.
So as of now, Governor Abbott has said 50% in terms of outdoor sporting events. Is that going to be something that is going to affect the team, not having necessarily a full stadium and that stadium possibly being split between 2 teams?
Yeah, I think it depends because, we're being honest with North Texas fans. If we win, there's a lot of people there. If we don't win, there's not a lot of people there, and so, and that's just kind of how the situation we're in. I love our fans. All the fans that show up are great. But, and early on in the season, there's more than kind of at the end. And so I think it really depends on if we're winning or not, which I plan on winning. And so since we are going to be winning, and they all probably will have to cut it off at 50%. That will affect us, especially when we're having some momentum, and then we look up in the stands and they should be full, but they're not, And so I think we'll adjust to it real well though, because our band is loud, and I feel like we have one of the best bands. All the other bands are terrible whenever we go to away places. Our band is legit. And and so I think we'll be good, but it'll definitely be different, especially when we worked hard to win these games, and that the outcome to the games aren't what they would be.
What's one thing that you've improved in your game over this off season?
My route running. I've been working a lot on running routes. Even though as a fullback, really most of the routes you run are mostly flat routes and just out routes. But we've been doing some incorporating different things where I'm going to be split out wide occasionally. And so I'm going to need to learn how to run, or I needed to learn how to run good slants, goes. We have different choice routes. And so I've really been working on my feet. I had a patella tendon tear last year, and so my routes, starting and stopping was painful, but that's all healed up. I got some injections in it, and so I've been working on that during the pandemic, especially change of direction, different stuff like that, because I feel like my speed is good, but my change of direction and my route running, I just hadn't really ever done it before, so that's probably the main thing.
So do you have a favorite and or least favorite uniform combo?
Yeah, so I am a big fan of the all black. Like, I really like how we looked against that was our last game against UAB. The all blacks looked real good. The throwback uniforms are great. I hate. I don't want to bash the throwbacks, because it's like the Mean Joe Green, and that's awesome. They're not my favorite, but I don't think I have a least favorite. But definitely the all black was my favorite, and the Mean Joe Green tribute is a classic, and not my favorite though.
So we're gonna shift to some more fun questions for you. So, you're from the area. So what's your favorite spot to go to in Denton?
My favorite spot to go to in Denton. Am I allowed to say Fry Street? No. I like this. I like the square. I mean, I know that's kind of cliche, but there's cool places on the lake too. There's a place called Camp Copus. It's north of Denton, and that's actually where my high school went for spring or for fall camp. We went out to that camp, and it's on the lake, about probably 15 minutes from downtown, and there's a field there, and we would stay there for a week and a half and do our fall camp there. So I really like Camp Copus, and if y'all haven't been there, it's really cool. It's like a peninsula that goes out in the lake. But Camp Copus, the square, there's a lot of cool things in Denton that you just gotta look for them.
Who was your favorite college football team growing up?
So I'm an Auburn fan. My dad coached at Auburn. He was a quality control at Auburn for a year. So I lived in Auburn for 4 or 5 years. After he was a quality control, he was a defensive coordinator at a NAIA school in Montgomery, Alabama, which is about 35, 40 minutes away from Auburn. But we stayed in Auburn, and we're Auburn fans. My younger brother plays baseball at Auburn. He's a starting center fielder. He's a sophomore this year. And so I'm a big Auburn fan. But if Auburn played against North Texas, I'd have to pull for the Mean Green.
Do you have any game day superstitions or a routine that you do on game day?
Yeah, I've got to do arm curls before every game. I've done arm curls before every game. I don't know why, just to get a little pump before you go out. I always chew gum. I chew double bubble gum, like the ones that last for 10 seconds and then you spit them out. I chew about 2 of those, and it was really cool because I did that in high school, and I got here, and I didn't know this, but they put it in your locker before the game, and I was like, how did they know? I thought they knew for somehow, but they did it for everyone. And so I'd chew a couple pieces of those, just get a little sugar, and yeah, I'm not a huge superstition guy. I just got a little routine I do though.
So this one is really designed to make you think. So, if you could only keep 3 apps on your phone, what would they be and why?
3 apps. Well, Twitter, for sure. And I don't want to say Instagram because I think Twitter's more real and it just makes me laugh really hard. Instagram, you got a lot of, people trying to look good, but Twitter, no one cares. And it's just a whole bunch of memes and people being funny. My calculator, love my calculator app. I've been taking real estate courses, and so I've been using that a lot. What's another one? So I like Snapchat. I do like Snapchat. Just we got a group, kind of a group snap with some of the football players, and just some of the stuff they send in there, man. It's just I wish everyone could see some of the stuff that goes on in there, because people would see us athletes as normal college kids.
What's your favorite football movie and why?
Favorite football movie? I'd say Remember the Titans, probably. Remember the Titans. It's honestly one of the first movies I think I've ever actually sat down and watched, when I was really little. Denzel, can't beat Denzel. Rest in peace, Gary Bertier. It's just, great movie, great message. And, I guess it's really relevant, I guess, in these times right now, watching that football team come together like they did. So, that's probably Remember the Titans.
So what do you want to do outside of after your career here at UNT?
So after my career, I really want to be a commercial real estate broker. I've been taking real estate courses actually during quarantine. I got my final on Thursday to see if I get my license. But if that doesn't work out, or I've always said I want to be a football coach, a college football coach. And so really real estate's kind of my backup plan. But really, in a perfect world, after I graduate, I'll go and GA at a school, preferably a Division I school, and then work my way up through the ranks. I got a good buddy, Mike Linehan, who played linebacker last year. He's a GA at San Diego State, and he said he loves it. And so I would really like to do that, but I've got a backup plan, in case that doesn't work out. So yeah.
What is your favorite fast food restaurant in Texas?
Do you consider Chipotle fast food?
I guess
because it's not, but it is. It can be. So I'll say Chipotle, but I'll also give an actual fast food. Chipotle or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
so Chick-fil-A, you can't beat Chick-fil-A sauce.
Who's the craziest guy in the locker room?
Case and Martin, bar none. Absolutely 100%. Case and Martin is loud. He's rambunctious. He's the best dancer on the team, I think. Jalen Darden is loud too, and he's funny. But him and Case and Martin are both just so alive, and they don't care. It'll be 5 a.m. and they're all yelling and screaming and trying to wake everyone up. So yeah, definitely those two guys.
What's your favorite NFL team and why?
Favorite NFL team? I'm from Texas, but I'm not a big Cowboys fan. I'm really not. I would say I'm not a big NFL fan in general, but I do like the Saints. Sean Payton, his son and daughter graduated from my high school, and he coached our 6th grade team when I was in 7th grade, when he had the year off for the bounty thing that happened probably 7 or 8 years ago. But so he's been around our school a lot, and so I like how he does things. And Drew Brees is a good guy, and I know there's been things about him on the internet, but I think he's actually a good guy, and it seems like the Saints are starting to rally around him. And you know, I know he said some comments that were, you know, controversial, but he's done a lot for the state of Louisiana, I think. So, Drew Brees fan. I guess I'm a Saints fan.
Well, that will be it for us at 3.5 Guys. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week where we'll be talking about college football.